Okay, good evening everyone. Trying out a new camera, so if it doesn't go to plan, do tell me. I'm going to talk about British military lever locks in this video. So a little bit of a niche area, but one I quite enjoy. They have quite a lot of history to them. So what I'm going to do, I'll rattle through the ones I've got and I'll point out some interesting, hopefully some interesting bits on them and a little bit of the history. So let's start with this. This is my smallest one and also the newest one I've got. It is an ACE, ACE padlock, manufactured in 2007. I'll put some better pictures up because the autofocus on this camera isn't all that good. Now you can tell it's 2007 because the 2007 date is stamped on there. It also has the other key features of modern padlocks, and that's the broad arrowhead at the top here and the NATO stock number underneath it. Now in this case it's 8178. The other number 910 is pretty standard throughout all locks, so 8178, and that basically means it's a 25mm 2-lever padlock, in this case solid brass. So that's that one. I have then a series of 4, get them in here, Belfries. Now they're all exactly the same, different dates. So again we've got the date stamp in the corner, 78, 80, 88 and another from 1980. They all have the broad arrow in the corner, so hopefully you can see that up here. If you can't, I'll put an inset photo in. They all have the key stamp. I've got to note that on here. On the front of this one there's the key number 4 stamped on the key. It's the same for all of these, so I've got key number 69, key number 75, and you'll find that pretty much across all of the, at least the modern padlocks and a lot of the older ones. In the military, yes, it's there to keep things secure, but you also need to know which key you need to use, because you'll end up with a guy with 30 keys on him and it'll take him 20 minutes to open up the damn locker. Okay, so these are Belfries, again sort of 1970s, 1980s. Now these are NATO serial number 8185, and the NATO serial number for 8185 means that they're a 40 millimeters in size, and that they're 4 levers. Now the NSN system doesn't care who makes them. So here we've got another 8185, and this is by Pinson and Sons, WM Pinson and Sons, and it's 1971 dated. It also has the broad arrow on it, just there. It also has the key number on the top corner there. So exactly the same lock, 40mm, and exactly the same number of levers. 4 levers. They don't care who makes it, so long as if you've lost that one and you reorder it, you get something that will work, and that's really the key bit. Now NSN numbers came into existence in the 1950s after World War II, after NATO was created, and started creeping into the UK's military's use between the mid-50s and into the 70s, to be honest. Prior to that, there was a system that was for the army known as the Vocabulary of Army Ordnance Stores, and that started a system of numbering your equipment so that you could reorder it back to sort of the mid-1800s. So what I've got here are 2 War Department locks. Now, actually, in this case, neither of these have a VAOS number on them, VAOS number, but they are marked up WD, which I think you can probably see on there, which means War Department. There's the broadhead arrow in the centre. This is 1944, and this is 1940, so we're talking World War II era. And again, they are exactly the same as these guys. 40mm, 4 lever. So those are War Department, WD with the broad arrow. Now, the broad arrow comes in a variety of different ways, a variety of different styles, depending on where the item has come from. In the UK, it is most likely to be seen with the Ministry stamping either side of it, or in the case of the modern ones, just by itself. But it was also used across the world in other predominantly British colonies. So we're talking Canada, Australia, New Zealand, India, all used the broad arrow with different stampings. South Africa did as well, I think, yes. I'll put a picture up I've taken off the internet with a series of showing those. I have never come across one on a padlock. They were less well used in other countries, probably more for the more important stuff like ammunition, weapon systems, that side of life. So I've never come across any. If anybody has, I would love to see them on a padlock. Okay, so what we have here though are 240mm padlocks. Again, same system, but in this case they were bought by the Air Ministry. They were bought by what was at the time the Royal Air Force, or the guys who managed the Royal Air Force. And you can tell that through two things. One is that this has, instead of the broad arrow, has A, M and the crown in between it, another stamping. They also have the number 1277 on them, and in this case precursored by 29G 1277. Now that is the old ministry number for this size of padlock, and it's specific to air purchases, so those by the Air Ministry. So it wouldn't be the VAOS number, it was in fact the Air Ministry number. But again, 40mm, exactly the same style, 4-lever. They both have the number of the key on them, and in this case there's a stores number. Now the stores number was probably stamped on post-purchase. When it got to a unit, they may well have stamped that on it. Okay, so what we have here is a bigger lock. Now this one is a 2.5 inch or 65mm, and it's the same size equivalent to something like a Squire 660. It has a different number here. In this case it has GA, which is sort of general purpose issue, 13913. Now this is a VAOS number, and it has an equivalent NATO serial number, NATO stock number of 8187. So if you wanted to order this padlock now, you could do exactly that through the NATO serial number, and the NATO serial number actually has that VAOS number linked to it. So you could literally pick up this padlock, which was manufactured in this case the 1950s, and you could replace it using the modern system. And we'll go on to my last military padlock I want to show you, which is this beast. Now this is a much larger padlock. I'm sure some of you have seen it before. I've done it in other videos. Walsall locks and cart gear, manufactured in 1948. It has a very deep cut broadhead arrow on it, and it has a stamp of GA5621 on it. Now I have not been able to find out what GA5621 refers to. It's obviously a VAOS number, but trying to get the VAOS catalogues that cover these eras, they're not always widely available. So if anybody is into their militaria and has a VAOS catalogue covering the GA stamp, I'd love to know. So that would be really, really nice. So hopefully, now that I've put a couple of pictures up and a bit of information about the stampings and the numbering system, and the sort of other information that comes onto these military padlocks, hopefully that's been interesting to everybody. And if you've got any questions, please put them in the comments below. And if anyone's got any other information, again, please put it in the comments below. I'd love to gain a bit more knowledge about some of the things that I might not have discussed in this video. So that's me for tonight. Hope everybody's okay. Quick shout out to Starry Locks, who it's good to see him back on YouTube, and hopefully he's gaining his subscribers back again. The other thing I'd like to note is I'm stuck on 99 subscribers, so come on guys, just one of you please. If I can hit the round 100, that'd be perfect. So, good night, Nostar.